Hey guys, how's it going? Today I'm going to be featuring the Massachusetts Bee once again. This is one of my favorite ships to play in this game simply because it is capable of simply doing everything that I am looking for in a battleship, which is the ability to delete ships at long range and the capability to push in and brawl. You will definitely see a ton of videos with this ship because it is my most played. Well, technically not the black version, but the standard Massachusetts I've played 3,500 battles in, and as of right now I'm around 6 million Elite XP in the Massachusetts B, so it's definitely up there in the amount of games played, and since I'm always recording, I actually have quite a bit of recordings of this ship and some fairly good games. Anyway, moving on to this match. It is a tier 6 and 7 game, and we see a Miyoko turning out showing full broadside, and he just gets absolutely deleted. You definitely don't ever want to be broadside to any battleship in this game, especially at that range and in a tier 6 cruiser, because you will just explode. Now I am playing very aggressive here, and I'm pretty much just pushing into this cap, although the enemy tier pits is also pushing back. So instead of continuously pushing in and letting the tier pits get into torpedo range, I start to turn out because there's no reason to let a tier pits get into torpedo range and use his torpedoes. This Atlanta is basically open water gunboating here, and my secondaries are going to be able to just absolutely melt him since the Atlanta's armor is basically non-existent. So I focus my secondaries on the Atlanta, hoping to kill him off much quicker, and then turn this side pretty much into a 3 versus 1. And then we will be able to focus tier pits, kill him off, and secure the cap. And as you can see by looking at the minimap, our team is basically twiddling their thumbs in the middle spawn, and our carrier is not actually sending any planes, so he is either AFK or simply disconnected, quit, whatever it may be. But I can already tell that this game is going to be a difficult one to win, even though that we're pretty much stomping our flank, simply because having a carrier versus not having a carrier is a huge difference, especially when the carrier that is on the other team is a Parseval, and our team pretty much has no map control. So now I see the tier pits isn't really looking at us. I am using this as an opportunity to turn around and try to push back in as quickly as I can, trying to secure Charlie and pretty much just get the cap and try to gain more map control so we can give our team a little more wiggle room so we don't get pinched into a corner and basically just killed off because we're surrounded. An enemy Colorado is pushing towards this flank, but he is playing fairly intelligently. He is actually trying to run away instead of pushing into an objective where our entire team is. And since he is running and seeing the enemy team at Alpha also pushing into the spawn and the enemy Colorado pushing back into their own spawn, if they continue going where they are, we will pretty much be in a crossfire, and the simple reason is because our team has zero map control. So we need to play extremely carefully with our angling and figuring out which ships are actually shooting at us and what we can get away with by turning a little more broadside, trying to mitigate damage from one area. And right now all we need to do is cap C so that we have some points ticking into our favor. And once we capture C, we need to start heading to Bravo and not chase this Colorado into their spawn, because that will just take too long. And seeing that our carrier still isn't playing because he is just not reconnecting, or he decided to play a different game at the very beginning, who knows. But we do not have time on our side, especially since they have 2 caps to our none right now. And once we get 1, they will still have the cap advantage and the ship advantage since our carrier is not playing, even though we've killed 3 of the enemy team while only 2 of ours have died. It's still basically an even match, but more so in the enemy's favor because they still have a carrier and they have more map control. As I am pushing further into the cap, I notice that I get located, so I check the scoreboard to see what type of destroyer it is, and it is a Venom. And I am thinking that he is trying to torpedo a battleship, so I slam on the brakes, trying to dodge any torpedoes that he is going to be launching, and he accidentally ends up getting spotted. But this cruiser is for some reason pulling out in front of me and simply just stopping. Even though the destroyer is spotted and we know that there's torpedoes coming, he also does not have any sonar active, and he just parks there and eats a bunch of torpedoes for no reason. And he could have easily avoided all those torpedoes by simply turning in and dodging them. The Venom is pretty much in a poor spot, and he goes down to my secondaries. And now we just need to start pushing towards Bravo. Although, like I said earlier, now we are in a crossfire because the enemy team is pushing into our spawn, while that Colorado is still in theirs, and he is continuously shooting at us and our team, who has decided to lemming behind me instead of posing any sort of threat in our spawn and trying to stop them. The friendly Bismarck decides to try to do a drive-by on the Jean Bart, and completely botches it, not really killing anything off. And right next to the Jean Bart is an enemy hipper that the Bismarck is just eating all the torpedoes from. I think in this moment the Bismarck's best play would have simply been to ram the Jean Bart and helping our team out much more than what he is doing. He definitely could have easily depth struck the Jean Bart if he had done the drive-by properly, but he didn't, and now he's just spamming for support after he just drove in next to a cruiser that had torpedoes and botched a drive-by. Nothing much the team can do to help, especially when you push into a situation where you're just simply outnumbered. The Bismarck would have been better off either ramming, like I said, or simply kiting away and continuously shooting the Jean Bart, providing a crossfire, since he was in our spawn and where I am would have definitely been the most valuable thing to do. But he threw his ship away, the Bismarck has died, the AFK carrier has died, and the points are just snowballing into the enemy's favor, and we need to start making something happen. I target the hippers since I know I can easily citadel him, and I need to do my best to get ships off the board, and I do get a devastating strike and kill him off, which is very helpful for our cause in trying to win this game. The enemy Jean Bart is still broadside to us while he was trying to dodge torpedoes from our destroyer, and our destroyer is unfortunately getting harassed by the enemy carrier, so I don't expect him to survive much longer. If we still had a friendly carrier to support the destroyer dropping fighters, we might have still had a chance to keep our destroyer alive and possibly still had a much better chance to win. Unfortunately, the Akatsuki does go down, and he isn't able to land any torpedoes on these battleships that have pretty much just pushed straight through A uncontested, and an enemy Vanguard shows up at the south of Alpha that is full HP and has pretty much had 0 damage done to him. And now, since the Jean Bart is still alive and turning back north, I can't be sitting here because I am in a very bad spot to be crossfired. So I decide to start turning out away from the Jean Bart and trying to mitigate the damage that I am going to be taking by using this island and putting it in between myself and the Colorado. The enemy Jean Bart is still relatively low on HP, and all I am going to do now is trying to do my best to kill off all of these ships before they have any real chance of killing me off, since I feel like I am really the only reason our team is even still in this game. I feel like I have done a pretty good job of conserving my HP and not losing a bunch of it for no reason, and I still do have 4 heals left, but now the enemy carrier is starting to come and drop us, which is not going to be good for our HP. And the enemy Jean Bart is shooting at us, the Colorado was shooting at us, and the enemy Vanguard is shooting at us, and you can see, being focused, we are just losing a bunch of our HP, which isn't good. And killing off that Jean Bart, we secure a Kraken. And if we really think about it, all the ships that have been killed, I have had very much to do with most of it, and every ship that has died I have shot at. We are also running out of time. The enemy carrier was last spotted in their spawn, and I am hoping that he wasn't smart enough to move away and basically keep himself away from any surface ships. But I am thinking he was smart enough to move towards Alpha, since that seems like where his planes are coming from. And our only hope in winning is for me to kill off this Vanguard as quickly as possible. And perhaps our cruisers will be able to find the enemy carrier and we can kill him off at the very end. But we just need to push into Bravo and straight to Alpha as quickly as we can. Unfortunately, the carrier is going after our cruisers in their spawn, and he has killed off one of them, and now it's just a 2 versus 2, and this Vanguard is still full HP. The Vanguard is also playing fairly intelligently by turning his ship, firing his guns, and angling once again. So I know I'm not going to be able to kill him off as quickly as I would hope. Right now my only hope is to keep pushing in and possibly pulling off a drive-by and dev striking him so I can push to Alpha as quickly as I can and possibly finding the enemy carrier at the last moment, and really it's our only hope at winning the game. Fortunately, we have the Vanguard's full attention and he is shooting at us while the enemy carrier is dropping our friendly cruiser. Having the Vanguard's full attention means that our cruiser won't be caught in a turn trying to dodge bombs or torpedoes and then getting dev struck by the enemy battleship. And this is really what you in a battleship should be doing, which is taking the fire from enemy battleships and making sure that your teammates aren't just deleted. And you see it so often that the battleships just stay at the back of the map and simply try not to take any damage themselves. And what ends up happening is their team just dies and then they're left all alone in the spawn and really ends up losing a game since they aren't really much help for your team, and while your team dies they are just conserving their HP a little too much. Seeing the Vanguard trying to run away behind the island, I changed my course to intercept him because, again, we need to kill him off as quickly as we can. Unfortunately, he is staying angled to us and basically just sailing broadside to our friendly Suzuya. And I am still very much just trying to get to Alpha and kill off this Vanguard as quickly as possible. Although this entire time that we have been shooting at him, it has taken far too long. Looking at the clock, it just doesn't seem like we're gonna find the enemy carrier before the game ends, and all we can do now is just try our best and hope he is inside Alpha, just on the other side of the island or somewhere near that we can spot him. We finally kill off the enemy Vanguard and we do not have much time left. Unfortunately, despite our best efforts to win this game, it just doesn't seem like it is going to be possible. The enemy carrier does end up killing off our friendly cruiser, and I send out a sarcastic thanks for our team not doing anything and basically making this absolute banger of a game a loss. I am still hoping for the slightest chance of a miracle of finding a broadside carrier that I can delete, so I'm just gonna sail straight through Alpha, taking any damage that the carrier does to me, just in the hopes that I can get one last shot off at the enemy carrier. Considering that the enemy carrier might also be full HP, and it's a Parsifal, so there's another 50,000 damage to be done. I could have very much almost had a 300,000 damage game. As you can see, 1.2 million credits, 245,000 damage, 8 medals including a Kraken, and almost 2600 base XP, which in a win would have been around 3900 base XP. And to relieve some frustration, I decide to use the in-game reporting system, although I know really nothing happens since the platforms don't really punish anyone, and neither does Wargaming. It's just a placebo effect to try and make myself feel better for having a god-awful team. But hey, that's just World of Warships, and that's just how the average player base is, and what you're gonna see pretty much on a day-to-day basis when you play this game. A bit unfortunate that this is the team I had, but also having a bad team like this allows me to do as well as I did, so it's kind of a mixed feeling. I think I'd prefer winning instead of losing. Sometimes that's just the way the cookie crumbles, I guess. I do hope at some point in the future, Wargaming does try to take some of the punishment into their own hands and using a system like PC has, where they might be forced to play in AI battles in order to get back to standard after basically playing horribly. But that's all I got for this video. I hope you guys enjoyed. Do leave a like and subscribe if you want to see more. Leave a comment down below for any ships you want to see in the future. But until next time, aloha.